nation. We're here once again to stand up for New Jersey and announce our latest effort to fight back against the Trump administration's assault on our people and the communities we live in. We're just 2 weeks into the tax filing season, and thousands of taxpayers across New Jersey are now fully realizing how bad the Trump tax bill and its gutting of the property tax write-off is for them and their families. President Trump and his Republican allies in Congress promised middle-class families thousands of dollars in tax relief and a $4,000 raise in their salary. But all they got was $1.5 trillion more in debt and an economy that is even more rigged for big corporations and wealthy CEOs. I didn't buy what Donald Trump was selling, not for a second. This legislation was written by corporate lobbyists behind closed doors and rammed through a Republican Congress at record speed. I sit on the Senate Finance Committee, that is the tax writing committee, as Congressman Pasquale sits on the Ways and Means Committee, which is the tax writing provision of the House, and I have never seen quote-unquote tax reform done in the way that this was done. Purely partisan, rammed through, writing elements of the bill on the edges of the bill, which has led to so many errors that have real consequences for businesses and individuals. This is the essence of what they did. Only this president could manage to lose $1.5 trillion in tax revenue while still raising taxes on millions of families. And to do this during a time of economic growth isn't just unheard of, it's downright dangerous for our country. Why? Because our economy will eventually, inevitably slow down, as many economists already unfortunately say it will, and the federal government will have fewer resources to boost growth and weather the storm. And for what? So that corporations could spend nearly $1 trillion buying back their own stock. Of course, as bad as the Trump tax bill is for the whole country, it's even worse for New Jersey. That's because Republicans paid for a chunk of these corporate giveaways by gutting the state and local tax deduction that New Jersey's middle-class families depend on to write off their property taxes. In 2016, 1.8 million, or around 40% of New Jersey taxpayers, deducted their property and state income taxes, averaging $18,000 per deduction. And more than 80% of those who deducted earned less than $200,000. So it's no surprise that as homeowners file their 2018 returns, they're fully realizing just how badly President Trump ripped them off. Let me share with you one letter sent to me from Bud Lake by a lady named Leah, Bud Lake, New Jersey. She wrote, and I quote, "My husband and I just did our taxes today, and for the first time ever, we owe money. And not just a little, hundreds. We own a home, and for the first time, we were not able to itemize our deductions. Our deductions, in fact, were cut in half. We even increased the withholding from our paychecks in the hopes that it would cushion the blow we kept hearing it might happen this year due to the wonderful new tax law. There is no incentive to us owning our home anymore. We are an average middle-class family paying a mortgage and trying to raise 3 kids. Every year we are squeezed more, and nothing is ever done to help. It's painful to me that we have to write a check to the federal government while millionaires complain that they have to pay too much. I'm tired of our family being collateral damage in yet another political fight. Whether it's furloughs, shutdowns, or now tax increases, we cannot catch a break." Leah is absolutely right. Middle-class families should never be used as political pawns in the GOP effort to pad the pockets of corporate fat cats already rolling in cash. Rather than provide relief to families like Leah's that they're already paying too much in taxes, President Trump and the Republican Congress actually made New Jersey's property tax burden worse. And beyond the hurt that many families are feeling, gutting the state and local tax deduction justifies common sense. Why should any taxpayer have to pay taxes on their taxes? Allowing property taxes to be fully deducted has been a bedrock principle of our tax code since the federal income tax was created in 1913. It's the longest existing particular deduction that was permitted since the federal tax code was placed into law over a century ago. And restoring the full deductibility of property taxes isn't just important for homeowners, it's important to every family across New Jersey. This common sense tax policy rewarded states that invested in things like education and public safety, infrastructure, and economic opportunity for all. These investments are partly why New Jersey is such a great place to live, work, and raise a family. And you don't have to take my word for that view. I'm a proud New Jerseyan, but you don't have to take my word that it's a great place to live, work, and raise a family. New Jersey's public education system and per capita income both consistently rank at the top of the nation. And it's no surprise that last year, Save the Children, an organization dedicated to the well-being and future of children in our nation, named New Jersey the #1 state in America to raise a child. Well, we want it to stay that way, and that means we must protect the investments that make New Jersey a place where families can thrive. That's why today we're announcing new bipartisan legislation to fully restore the federal property tax deduction and end the double taxation that the Trump tax bill imposed on New Jersey taxpayers. It's aptly named the SALT Act, which stands for Stop Attacking Local Taxpayers. We know all too well that New Jersey is a high-cost state where families face high property tax bills and a high cost of living. Well, our bill is designed to provide some relief. Generally speaking, the more you pay in property and state taxes, the more relief you'll get from our bill. It's the exact opposite of what the Trump tax bill says to the American people, which is basically that the higher the cost of living in your state and the more you pay in state and local taxes, the more you owe to the federal government. Our legislation will once again allow New Jerseyans to deduct virtually all of their state and local taxes from federal returns. We do this by repealing some of the tax breaks for the super wealthy tucked into the Trump tax bill and using that revenue to restore a deduction that middle-class families depend on. We've worked hard to make this legislation the most responsible, practical, and bipartisan plan to restore the property tax deduction in both chambers of Congress. So let me give a couple of examples of how this would affect real people's lives. A single mom with adult children who earns $100,000 per year and pays $14,000 in property taxes on a $400,000 home would save about $1,500 a year in their federal taxes. A married couple with one working as a teacher and the other as a police officer who earn a combined salary of $150,000 and pay $16,000 in property taxes on a home they purchased for $500,000 would save about $2,500 per year under our bill. This is real money for real people who are New Jersey's middle class. Make no mistake, the Trump administration has it out for New Jersey. From threatening funding for Gateway, which is a project of national significance critical to our region, to trying to turn Medicaid into a cheap block grant program, to slamming homeowners with higher property taxes, this is a challenge we consistently face. We've been fighting these fights from day one, and as anyone knows about me, I never back down until we win.